Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Mastery Podcast, your go-to resource for mastering advanced English conversations. I'm Emma, your AI-powered host, and I'm excited to guide you through today's topic, nuanced language in professional and academic settings. Whether you're preparing for a major presentation, crafting a report, or engaging in a formal debate, this episode is tailored to help you elevate your English to the next level.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jake, your co-host, and together with Emma, we'll explore how to use English with precision and sophistication in high-stakes environments. Today's episode is packed with practical tips, advanced vocabulary, and strategies to help you navigate complex conversations and make a lasting impression. Are you ready to get started, Emma?
Absolutely, Jake. Let's dive in.
Let's begin by discussing why nuance is so important in professional settings. At an advanced level, English is not just about making yourself understood, it's about how you convey your message. Nuance adds depth and subtlety to your language, making you sound more persuasive, credible, and professional.
Exactly, Jake. In business meetings, presentations, or academic discussions, you might need to convey disagreement without offending others or emphasize a point without sounding too aggressive. The key to achieving this is using nuanced language phrases and expressions that convey your message subtly and effectively.
To put this in context, let's think about a typical business meeting where multiple stakeholders are involved. Suppose you disagree with a colleague's proposal. A direct approach might sound like, "I disagree with this idea." This statement is clear, but can come across as confrontational or dismissive. A more nuanced approach would be, "While I see the value in this approach, I believe we might achieve better results if we consider an alternative strategy."
Notice how the second version acknowledges the colleague's effort and contribution while gently introducing a differing opinion. This approach not only softens the disagreement but also encourages a collaborative discussion, which is crucial in professional environments.
Nuance is particularly important in multicultural teams where direct communication might not always be the norm. In such settings, it's essential to use language that is both respectful and effective, ensuring that your message is well received across different cultural contexts.
That's a great point, Jake. When working in diverse environments, understanding and using nuanced language can help prevent misunderstandings and build stronger professional relationships. It's about finding the right balance between being clear and being considerate.
Exactly. In high-stakes environments, precision in language can make the difference between success and failure. For example, in legal or technical discussions, using the right terms and expressions can ensure that your message is not only understood, but also acted upon in the way you intend.
Let's explore this idea further. Consider a scenario where you're presenting a complex project to a group of stakeholders. It's important to be clear and precise, but also to convey the intricacies of your proposal. A statement like, "This project will improve our processes," is clear but lacks depth. Instead, you could say, "Implementing this project will streamline our operational workflows, enhance efficiency by 20%, and reduce overhead costs by 15% over the next quarter." This version is both nuanced and precise, giving your audience a clear understanding of the benefits and the expected impact.
Absolutely, Emma. Precision in language not only helps in conveying your message clearly, but also builds credibility. When your language is precise, it shows that you have a deep understanding of the subject matter, which can significantly influence how your message is received.
So, to sum up, nuance in professional communication is about finding the right balance between clarity, precision, and respect. It's about delivering your message in a way that is both effective and considerate of your audience. Whether you're agreeing, disagreeing, or proposing an idea, the way you frame your language can make all the difference.
That's a great summary, Emma. And now that we've established the importance of nuance in professional settings, let's move on to some strategies for incorporating nuanced language into your speech.
Incorporating nuance into your speech involves more than just choosing the right words. It's about how you frame your entire message. One effective strategy is to use qualifiers. Qualifiers are words or phrases that soften the impact of your statements, making them less absolute and more open to interpretation.
That's a fantastic strategy, Emma. Qualifiers are particularly useful when you want to introduce a topic delicately or when you're unsure about something. Phrases like "it seems that," "I would suggest," or "perhaps we could consider" allow you to present ideas in a way that is open to discussion, rather than presenting them as the only solution.
Exactly. Qualifiers help you to sound more diplomatic and considerate, which is essential in maintaining a positive tone in professional and academic environments. For instance, instead of saying, "This project will fail if we don't act now," you might say, "It's possible that this project could face significant challenges if we don't take timely action." The latter version introduces the idea of potential challenges without sounding overly pessimistic or alarmist.
Another powerful strategy is to use diplomatic language. This involves choosing words that are polite and considerate, especially when delivering criticism or disagreeing with someone. For example, instead of saying, "This report is poorly written," you could say, "I think this report could benefit from some revisions to enhance its clarity and impact."
Diplomatic language is particularly important when giving feedback. It allows you to be honest while still being respectful of the other person's efforts. In a leadership role, this kind of language is crucial because it helps you maintain a positive team environment while still addressing issues that need improvement.
Let's talk about another scenario where nuance plays a critical role in negotiations. Whether you're negotiating a contract, a salary, or a project deadline, the way you phrase your language can greatly influence the outcome. For example, instead of saying, "I need a higher salary," you might say, "Based on my experience and the market standards, I believe there's room for us to discuss a more competitive salary."
That's a great example, Jake. In negotiations, it's important to assert your position without coming across as demanding. Phrases like "I believe," "it would be beneficial," or "I would appreciate it" if help you to make strong points while still being polite and professional.
Another key strategy is to use conditional language. Conditional language allows you to propose ideas or suggestions without sounding too direct. For example, instead of saying, "We should implement this change," you might say, "If we were to implement this change, it could lead to improved efficiency and customer satisfaction."
Conditional language is also useful when you want to introduce a new idea or approach in a way that invites collaboration. It allows you to present your suggestions as part of a broader discussion rather than as a directive. This can be particularly effective in team settings, where collaboration and input from others are valued.
Let's give our listeners another example. Imagine you're in a team meeting discussing a new project timeline. Instead of saying, "This deadline is unrealistic," you could say, "If we aim for this deadline, we might face some challenges in terms of resources and workload. Perhaps we could consider an alternative timeline that allows for more thorough preparation."
That's a perfect example, Jake. It acknowledges the potential issues with the proposed timeline while also offering a constructive solution. This approach not only helps to address concerns, but also encourages a collaborative discussion on finding the best way forward.
To wrap up this segment, it's important to remember that nuance in speech is not about being vague or indirect. Rather, it's about being strategic with your language, choosing words and phrases that convey your message effectively, while also being considerate of your audience and the context.
Exactly. Nuance is a powerful tool that, when used correctly, can enhance your communication, build stronger relationships, and lead to better outcomes in both professional and academic settings. Now that we've discussed strategies for incorporating nuance into your speech, let's dive into some advanced vocabulary that can help you sound more sophisticated in professional and academic settings.
Advanced vocabulary is key to conveying your ideas with precision and authority. It's not just about using big words, it's about choosing the right words for the context. Let's start with some vocabulary that's particularly useful in professional settings.
One powerful word to add to your vocabulary is mitigate. Instead of saying reduce or lessen, you can use mitigate to convey a more sophisticated tone. For example, "We need to mitigate the risks associated with this project" sounds more professional than "we need to reduce the risks."
Another great word is facilitate, which can replace more common verbs like help or assist. For instance, instead of saying, "I'll help you with this task," you could say, "I'll facilitate the completion of this task." It's a subtle shift, but it makes your language sound more polished.
And let's not forget about expedite, which means to speed up a process. For example, we need to expedite the approval process is a more formal and precise way of saying we need to speed up the approval process.
These words are particularly useful when you want to convey a sense of professionalism and competence. They're also helpful in making your language more varied and interesting, which can be especially important in written communication like emails, reports, and presentations.
Another set of advanced vocabulary that's useful in professional and academic settings includes phrases that convey complexity. For instance, instead of saying a detailed approach, you could say a multifaceted approach. This not only sounds more sophisticated, but also suggests a deeper level of analysis.
Similarly, instead of understanding, you might say nuanced understanding, which indicates that you recognize the subtleties of a situation or topic. And instead of thorough analysis, you could use comprehensive analysis, which conveys a sense of completeness and depth.
These phrases are particularly useful when you want to convey a high level of expertise or when you're discussing complex topics that require careful consideration. They're also great for adding variety to your language, which can help keep your audience engaged.
Another important aspect of advanced vocabulary is varying your sentence structure. Instead of always using simple sentences, try using complex sentences with clauses that add detail and nuance. For example, instead of saying, "We should focus on this project," you might say, "Given the current market trends, it would be prudent to prioritize this project as it aligns with our long-term goals."
Complex sentences like this not only convey more information in a single statement, but also make your communication more efficient and sophisticated. They're especially useful in written communication, where clarity and conciseness are key.
Let's practice this with a scenario. Imagine you're writing an email to a client explaining a delay in a project. Instead of saying, "The project is delayed because of supply chain issues," you could say, "Due to unforeseen disruptions in our supply chain, the project timeline has been extended to ensure that we maintain the highest standards of quality."
That's a great example, Jake. The second version not only explains the reason for the delay, but also reassures the client that quality remains a top priority. This kind of language can help to maintain trust and confidence in your professional relationships.
Another useful tip is to use transition words and phrases to connect your ideas smoothly. Words like however, moreover, consequently, and therefore can help to guide your reader or listener through your argument, making it easier for them to follow your reasoning.
Transition words are particularly important in academic writing, where clarity and coherence are crucial. They help to structure your argument logically and make your writing more persuasive. For example, instead of saying "this method is effective," you could say, "Therefore, this method is particularly effective in addressing the challenges we face."
To sum up this segment, advanced vocabulary and varied sentence structures are essential tools for sounding more sophisticated in professional and academic settings. They help to convey your ideas with precision, authority, and clarity, making your communication more effective and impactful.
Exactly, Jake. And remember, mastering advanced vocabulary takes time and practice, so don't be afraid to experiment with new words and phrases in your daily communication. The more you practice, the more natural it will become.
Now that we've covered the theory, let's put it all into practice with some role-playing scenarios. These will help you see how nuanced language, advanced vocabulary, and complex sentence structures can be applied in real-world situations. Great idea, Emma! Role-playing is a fantastic way to practice these skills in a safe environment, where you can experiment with different approaches and receive feedback. Let's start with a business scenario. Imagine you're a project manager presenting a new initiative to the executive team. You need to persuade them that this initiative is worth pursuing, but there are potential risks involved. In this scenario, it's important to balance optimism with realism. You want to highlight the benefits of the initiative while also acknowledging the risks and proposing ways to mitigate them. Here's how you might approach it. This initiative offers significant opportunities for market expansion, particularly in emerging markets where we've identified unmet demand. However, it's crucial that we also consider the associated risks, including potential regulatory challenges.
To mitigate these risks, I suggest we implement a phased approach that allows us to monitor progress and make adjustments as needed.
That's a well-rounded approach, Emma. You've presented the initiative positively, while also demonstrating that you've thought through the potential challenges. This not only makes your argument more persuasive, but also shows that you're prepared and responsible.
Let's try another scenario, this time in an academic setting. Imagine you're defending your thesis in front of a panel, and one of the professors questions your methodology. It's important to defend your work confidently while also showing that you're open to constructive criticism.
In this scenario, you might say, "I appreciate your concern regarding the methodology. I chose this approach because it provides a comprehensive framework for analyzing the data, particularly in the context of the specific variables we're studying. However, I'm open to discussing alternative methods that could further strengthen the findings, especially if they offer additional insights into the complex interactions at play."
That's an excellent response, Jake. It shows that you're confident in your choices, but also willing to consider other perspectives. This kind of language is crucial in academic settings, where rigorous debate and critical thinking are valued.
Let's move on to a scenario where you're negotiating a contract with a potential business partner. Negotiations can be tricky, especially when both parties have different priorities. It's important to assert your position without coming across as too aggressive or inflexible.
In this scenario, you might say, "We believe that the terms we've proposed offer a fair and mutually beneficial arrangement. However, we're open to discussing any concerns you might have and are willing to explore alternative solutions that align with both our interests."
That's a great approach, Emma. It shows that you're confident in your proposal, but also willing to listen and collaborate. This kind of language can help to build trust and foster a positive working relationship.
Let's practice one more scenario, this time in a team setting. Imagine you're leading a project meeting and you need to address a team member who hasn't been meeting deadlines. It's important to address the issue without demotivating the team member.
In this scenario, you might say, "I've noticed that we've been facing some challenges in meeting our deadlines recently. I'd like to understand if there are any obstacles that are preventing us from staying on track and see how we can work together to overcome them. Your contributions are valuable, and I want to ensure that we're all able to perform at our best."
That's a thoughtful and supportive approach, Jake. It addresses the issue directly while also showing empathy and a willingness to help. This kind of language is essential for effective leadership and team management.
To wrap up this segment, role-playing scenarios are a powerful tool for practicing nuanced language and advanced communication skills. They allow you to experiment with different approaches, receive feedback, and build confidence in your ability to navigate complex situations.
Exactly, Jake. And remember, the key to mastering these skills is practice. The more you engage with these scenarios, the more comfortable and confident you'll become in using nuanced language in real-world situations. As we come to the end of this episode, let's recap what we've covered. We started by discussing the importance of nuance in professional and academic communication. We explored how nuanced language can help you convey your message effectively while also being respectful and considerate of your audience.
We then moved on to strategies for incorporating nuance into your speech, including the use of qualifiers, diplomatic language, and conditional statements. We also discussed the importance of precision in language and how it can enhance your credibility and impact.
After that, we delved into advanced vocabulary and sentence structures that can help you sound more sophisticated in professional and academic settings. We provided examples of how to use these tools to convey your ideas with precision and authority.
Finally, we put everything into practice with role-playing scenarios, where we demonstrated how to apply nuanced language, advanced vocabulary, and complex sentence structures in real-world situations. These scenarios provided a practical way to see how these skills can be used effectively in professional and academic environments.
To sum up, mastering nuanced language and advanced communication skills is essential for success in professional and academic settings. It allows you to convey your message clearly and effectively while also building strong relationships and achieving your goals.
And remember, these skills take time and practice to develop. Don't be afraid to experiment with different approaches, seek feedback, and continue learning. The more you practice, the more natural and confident you'll become in using advanced English.
That's right, Jake. And as always, we encourage our listeners to practice these skills in their daily interactions, whether it's at work, in class, or in social settings. The more you use advanced English, the more natural it will feel. That wraps up episode 3 of the Mastery Podcast. We hope you found today's discussion on nuanced language in professional and academic settings helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others who might benefit.
And don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. We'd love to hear what you think and what topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep practicing, stay curious, and continue pushing the boundaries of your English skills. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.